I've had the absolute pleasure of meeting and working with tons of YouTube creators and even the YouTube team themselves. As a result of these experiences, I've pulled together a checklist that all YouTubers should be using to ensure that our channel is in the best possible position for success. So stick with me, it's a short checklist, there's only 5 points. Let's get to it and make sure that you've checked all of these elements off. By the way, this video is sponsored by Storyblocks, more on them later. All right, so the first thing on your checklist, we're gonna start with a biggie. This is gonna be making sure that YouTube understands what your content is about. In case you're not familiar with how social media algorithms work, they're basically this big scary thing that dictates how our content performs. So the YouTube algorithm specifically is going to try and figure out what your content is about and also how popular it is. And once it has that information, it's going to decide if it's going to push your videos out to new people. And if it does want to push your video out, who is it going to push it out to? That's where this item on your checklist comes in. We need to make sure that YouTube understands what our content is about so that if it does decide to push it out into the big bad world, it actually knows who it needs to push it out to. Do you see what I mean? Like if your content is about, I need to think of a different niche example because I always pick the same ones like finance and plant care.
A few moments later.
Travel. If your content is about travel, YouTube needs to know that your content is about travel so that when it pushes it out to people, it pushes it out to people who are interested in travel. Right? If you don't necessarily have a niche, then don't worry. This is where your audience comes in. If all of your content is about different niches, but it's specifically for like millennial mums, then YouTube needs to know and understand that your content is for millennial mums, right? So how do we check if YouTube actually knows who our content is for or what it's about? There's a few different ways you can check this. Let's bring up my analytics. If you didn't know already, you can find your analytics by heading to YouTube Studio and clicking on the analytics tab. So the first thing you want to do is click on the content tab and then scroll to the bottom. What we're looking for here is a section which says how viewers found your videos. Now, these sections are actually called cards, so I'm going to refer to them as cards from now on. So we're looking for the card which is titled how viewers find your videos. We then want to click on YouTube search. And what's now going to happen is YouTube is going to tell you the key search terms which are driving majority of your search traffic. What this basically means in like layman's terms is that YouTube is showing you what people are typing in to find your content. So for me, we've got how to start a podcast, how to grow on Instagram, UGC content creator, marketing strategies, and then of course my name, which is still surreal. I can never imagine people like typing in my name into YouTube unless you're like my mum. And if you click see more, then it's going to open up your advanced analytics, which are going to show you even more key terms that people are using to find your content on YouTube. This is a very rich data source because YouTube is going to use this to try and figure out what your content is about. So you want to make sure the top few keywords what appear there are actually super relevant to your main content. You can also check this by heading to your audience tab. Scrolling down again. Now you want to look out for 2 cards on the right. One of them is titled channels your audience watches. This is interesting because it's going to show you like the main channels that your audience also watch. I don't know why I explained that. Like I feel like I just repeated myself. So you guys are following me already. This is really useful because you can see if these channels are similar to yours. You want them to be similar to yours because it's a clear sign that you're attracting the right audience. That also goes for the cards underneath it, which says what your audience watches. So this time YouTube is showing you the videos. So not the channels, but the videos that your audience like to watch. Again, you want this to be similar to yours. Either similar in topic, like mine is mostly going to be about social media entrepreneurship, or similar in format. So if you're a vlogger, you want to see a bunch of other vlogs appearing here because that means that YouTube's data is suggesting that your content is about vlogs. And if YouTube's data is saying that, that means YouTube knows that too. Last but not least, you can head to the inspiration tab. Let's scroll down. By the way, some big updates coming to the inspiration tab. I just filmed a video about YouTube updates. They're really big, guys. I went to an event in New York where the CEO of YouTube literally announced all of the updates coming and they are major. I will link to the video up here because you need to watch it. Now, how this inspiration tab works is that YouTube is utilizing all of their first party data to actually suggest video topics for you to create based on the data that they have. Therefore, if all of these suggestions are similar to your content, then you can rest assured that YouTube knows what your content is about. I know what you're thinking. What do you do if you do those checks and you realize that actually YouTube might not know what your content is about? What I want you to do is to dive into your channel and figure out which videos might be skewing the data. Because a lot of the time, if people do this exercise and they're like, oh, that's weird, YouTube seems to think my content is about food, but actually it's about finance. It's because you've got one video buried deep in that catalog that's actually driving a lot of traffic to your channel that's about food, and that's messing up the data for your entire channel. So you want to find that video, you want to put it on private, and slowly you'll start to see when you do these checks, the recommendations will be more aligned with your content. Next up on your checklist, make sure you're using the right tools to support your content. There's a big chance that you're making life a lot harder for yourself right now. And hopefully me saying that is good news, because it means I'm about to share something with you what's going to make your life a little bit easier. We all know that in order to bring our content to life, whether it's sit down talking head videos like this one, or whether it's vlogs or whatever other type of content that you like to do, we know that to bring our content to the next level, we need to enhance it with more creative assets. If you're new to the world of YouTube, when I talk about creative assets, I'm talking about things like audio, sound effects, B-roll, images, etc. These are all things that can massively enhance the quality and the production value of our videos. When it comes to sourcing all these things, there really is only one platform that you need to use, and that is Storyblocks. Now, if you didn't know already, Storyblocks is a stock media subscription service which provides you with a vast library of stock videos, images, audio, sound effects, etc. When you use Storyblocks, you get unlimited access to royalty-free assets that you can use freely in your content and your business. Now, back in the day when I started my YouTube channel, I did not know about platforms like this. So I'm not gonna lie to you, my videos looked pretty dry. That's why I knew that I had to put this tip on today's checklist, because it's an important one for all of us to be aware of. It's basically a hack. The next time you watch someone's incredibly cinematic video and you think to yourself, how on earth did they get all those shots? Just know that they probably didn't get most of those shots themselves. They probably use a platform like Storyblocks, and you can do the exact same thing. Storyblocks keeps you legally covered with clear-cut licensing agreements, which basically means that you can use their assets without having to worry about a pesky copyright strike. If you use Premiere Pro and After Effects to edit your videos, you can actually integrate Storyblocks and get access to the entire stock library directly from your editor. And one of my personal favorite elements is that you can choose from their thousands of templates to streamline your workflow, but also to utilize motion graphics, which most of us just would not be able to create on our own. So to get started with unlimited stock media downloads at just one set price, head to storyblocks.com/Jade Beeson, or of course you can head to my link in my description. All right, let's move on to the next element of my checklist. This checklist is to make sure you are utilizing your playlist. This is such an undervalued element of YouTube. Like, people really don't utilize these as much as they should. If you didn't know already, playlists are basically when you can group together a bunch of videos and you can group it under one designated playlist. You can then share links to that playlist with people so that they can binge watch all of your content. Because essentially, if you share a link to a playlist with someone and they start to watch one video, YouTube will automatically play the next video from that playlist. So it massively increases the chances of your audience watching one video and then watching your other video and then watching another video, especially if you utilize it the right way. More on that in just a second. It is worth saying that this hack is especially useful for anyone who's trying to drive up their watch hours or who's trying to earn more money through ads on their YouTube content. Because the more you can get people to binge your content, the more watch hours you get, but also the more ads that your audience will watch. And if you didn't know already, the more ads that your audience watch, the more money that your channel makes. So how do you use the playlist option the right way? First thing is to make sure you figured out your playlist categories. I don't want you just to like select your entire video library, add it to a playlist and be like, finished. You're not finished. You've not even started. What you need to do is look at your video library and see if you can come up with some categories or some topics that group some of your videos together. Should we take a look at mine as an example? I always ask you guys questions like you can answer me. You can't. So if you didn't want to look at mine, tough, because I'm the one who's navigating. So you're on my YouTube channel now. If we scroll down, what you're going to see straight away is a bunch of playlists that I have already created and I've added them to my homepage. So at the top, you've got influencer/content creator tips. Then you've got YouTube tips, Instagram tips, entrepreneur tips. That's not good grammar, is it? Entrepreneur tips. It's like entrepreneurial tips is what it should be. Can you tell me which one it should be in the comments, please? Thanks so much. I did pass English, but clearly not with a good grade. Marketing and branding tips. And then I've got like my shorts shelf, which is where all my shorts live. But let's focus on the playlists themselves. Now, I've purposely come up with these playlist categories based on one specific thing. And that thing is you guys. I've looked at different segments within my audience and I've grouped together videos that I know that these different segments would want to watch. For example, you watching this video right now, you are probably interested in YouTube. That's why you're watching the video, but you might not be interested in TikTok or Instagram, but that's okay. Because if you're watching my YouTube playlist, the next video that's going to appear is going to be about YouTube. And because I know that you like this one, there's a pretty decent chance that you're going to like the next one, right? So you need to find playlist categories where your audience is going to have a similar experience. If you're really stuck, think about the different content topics that you talk about and think about grouping those, or think about the different formats that you tend to use. For example, maybe sometimes you do educational style videos where you're just sitting and talking like I am right now, and sometimes you do vlogs. If that's the case, you might want to have a whole playlist just for your vlogs. Right? There's a few things you can do to really take this to the next level. Obviously, the first thing is just to create the playlist. And once you've done that, super proud of you. If you really want to be a bit of a teacher's pet with this one, which I respect, you might want to consider doing the following, including links to playlists in your other marketing channels. For example, if you're on Instagram or TikTok or you have a mailing list, consider whether linking to some of these playlists will make sense on those channels. You might also want to store all of these links on a spreadsheet, which is clearly labeled, so that the next time someone asks you a question and you think it'd be appropriate to send a playlist link, you can easily find that link. You might also want to link to playlists under some of your videos. You might want to write a comment under your video saying, by the way, guys, if you love this vlog, check out my entire vlog playlist. Link to the playlist and pin that comment to the top. And/or you might want to send weekly or monthly, whatever frequency works for you, community posts out to your audience where you're linking to some of these playlists. All of these different tactics will just help drive more traffic to your playlist. And remember that when someone watches a video through your playlist, the chances of them watching more content from you is even higher, and that is so good for your channel. All right, let's move on to the next one. I'm like desperate to sneeze. I've got a bit of a cold. You know when it's just all here and it won't come out, so it makes your eyes go fuzzy. It's really annoying. You're supposed to look at light to make you sneeze. It's not working. Next thing I want you to do is to look at your channel branding. I know what you're thinking. I've already done my channel branding, Jade. I've got a channel banner, that's finished. I just want you to look at it again. A lot of us underestimate how important our channel branding is because I feel like it's not as important on like TikTok or Instagram or stuff like that. The reason why it's more important on YouTube is because a lot of our viewers will be watching our content from either their desktop or the TV. My TV's over there, that's why I'm pointing over there, but you don't know that. Either the desktop or the TV, right? And when people find your content and your channel through those two mediums, they'll often look at your channel as a way of browsing your content and maybe even deciding if they want to subscribe to you. Therefore, making sure that your channel is in tip-top shape and you've reviewed your channel banner on like a yearly basis, it's just going to help the chances of you converting a viewer into a subscriber. So let's look at my channel branding because I did recently change it. So if you don't like it, don't tell me because I love it and it's just going to hurt my feelings. So this is my current channel branding. A few things that I like to recommend people do without diving too deep into the depths of channel branding on YouTube is making sure that you've got a channel banner which sets expectations. If you always upload every week, tell people that, because all that does is give your audience faith that you're a great person to subscribe to because you upload content regularly. If you don't upload content every week, then don't say that you do because that's just going to piss people off. Another thing that you might want to do is talk about the other channels that you have. That's what I've got there. You also want to utilize this area. So obviously you've got your profile photo. You want to make sure that it focuses on whoever features the most in your content and also shows your personality if you can as well. Don't overlook your like intro bit, your about me bit. So you see here, mine says bridge the gap between creating content you love and earning income. Do you know how many times I had to rewrite that? Bear in mind, it is the general thing that I say. If someone asks me what is my content about, that is what my content's about. However, I did have to reword it a few times so that it would fit. Because when you click more, obviously you get more information about you, which is great. But most people don't click more. So you want to make sure that that first few words, how many words we got there? 1, 2, is that ampersand a word? Sure. 9, 10, 11, 12. Those 12 words count. You want to make sure those 12 words clearly communicate who you are. Oh, I thought the sneeze was going to come then. How annoying. It's okay. It will come. Those first 12 words clearly communicate who your content is for. And then of course you've got an area for your links. Always remember that the first link is the one that shows up first. So make sure that's the one that you want most people to click on. Might actually change that for me. And then you also have the opportunity to do things like add a channel trailer, which I always love doing. The video that I chose for my channel trailer, I chose it based on the one that I feel like gives me some good credibility in my space. But you might want to pick one that does a great job at introducing yourself or does a great job at showing off your personality. It's completely up to you, but put some thought behind it. All right, should we move on to the final element of the checklist? Item number 5, you want to make sure that you're sharing a subscribe link. Now, I have shared this tip before and you lot went mental for it. So I just thought, let me put it in here in case you did not hear about it. There is a special secret type of link that you can share with your audience, which will actually lead to you getting more subscribers. I will include this link in the description box below so that you can copy and paste it because I'm not going to make you type it out bit by bit. But this is essentially what it looks like. It's made up of YouTube's URL, your channel ID, and then some code at the end, which is what makes it really special. Let me show you what happens when you click on this link. When you click on this very special link, you will be encouraged to subscribe to my channel. This is an automatic pop-up box that will appear, which will say, are you sure you want to subscribe to Jade Beeson? Now, this is great because if the person clicking on that link is already logged in, all they have to do is hit the subscribe button and they've straight away subscribed to your channel. This massively reduces the chance of someone just browsing your YouTube channel and never subscribing to you. It's actually pretty easy to do. You basically simply want to head to your YouTube studio, click on customization and scroll down to channel URL. You want to copy that URL and then you want to add this code on the screen, which is also below, to the end of it. Once you add that code to the end of your full YouTube URL and share that with someone, they'll get the same pop-up box asking if they want to subscribe to your channel. So go ahead, use the special link and thank me later. All right, that's it for the checklist. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It is all about my full YouTube workflow. Like, I take you behind the scenes. I show you every single step that I go through to create my YouTube content in a really efficient way. Do not forget to check out Storyblogs via the link in my description. Thank you so much for watching as always. I can't wait to see you in my next video.